What is up, everybody? Hope you're doing well today. We're back with another live stream to talk about NBA and college basketball picks for tonight's slated games. Um, yeah, we Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's doing well on this Monday. Definitely hope you all had a very humbling, very safe weekend. Um, and hope that you know cashed in on some bets over the weekend. Um, I did I did well Saturday and did fairly okay Sunday. As always, my name is Vortex46, and if you feel comfortable, if you feel up to it, I'd say go over and follow my Twitter, a or X at Vortex46 for all of my picks for sports betting, mainly NBA, and now a little bit more focused on college now. So these are some of the picks for today, but I want to dive into um, the recap for yesterday, as I did I did fairly okay, definitely under 500, as I posted here on X, as you see over here on the right. I had 25 picks in total. My NCAA picks, I had 11 of them, and I went 10 and 9. Excuse me, 10 and 9, 2 and 9. But I did very well on my 10 NBA picks, and went 7 and 3, and I went 1 and 1 for the log picks, which I did talk about in the video from earlier today. So if you feel comfortable, go on ahead and check it out. Like I said, this is Pickett. As I always say, check out Pickett. Pickett is covering. It's a free app. You don't have to do a subscription if you don't want to. They have a subscription. I refuse to do the subscription, but the free app this is what you're getting on the app here per Pickett. It's tracking all of your bets, from top to bottom. And as you saw way at the beginning here, it also tracks your wages and your record and the ROI and all of that stuff. So daily tracker, yearly tracker, all of that. So check them out if you have it. It's a free app. But with that, like I said, college 2 and 9. There were a plethora of college picks that I felt really good about. That just didn't cash. I had a 10-leg parlay that I round robin that didn't work out. I think only like 3 out of the or 4 or something like that hit, so that didn't cash. If it would have cashed, I would have won some funds, but that didn't happen. But this is the NBA here. But this right here specifically, this worked out. This parlay here, where I decided to fade or take the team total overs, but at a very, very low value. As you see, minus 300, minus 355, stuff like that. These are more the smarter type of picks that you want to do, even including when you're betting in the NBA. You want to do these type of parlays because these parlays are more on the safer side, where it has a higher chance of hitting, but it can still not hit at all, because again, sports, it's unpredictable. Even something like this all 4 of these couldn't have cashed at all, due to certain circumstances with these games. But it could still, again, even just one and you're fresh out of luck. But as you see up at the top here, I had another one for the NBA. Same thing, as you see, as perfect example, Washington. I needed them to score 94 points. That's it, just 94. And this would have worked out for me, and I would have won a few bucks off of this. For I think I put like $1 and some change, and I would have won back like $5-6 in total. And Washington finished with 90. So I told myself, I was thinking like, well, maybe I should take Orlando. You know what? I'm gonna take Washington. I feel like Washington can score these 94 points. I should have went with Orlando, but I did. Orlando's trying to push, to be a team again without Suggs, and they are, they're still sometimes struggling. They're sort of kind of finally scoring over 100 points per game over the last few games. So that's what I'm saying. It just depends on what's going to happen in any of these picks. I actually have a specific pick that I decided to round robin tonight for these NBA picks. But let's that's the recap. That's pretty much the recap. All my other picks came close to hitting but didn't hit. So I'm just gonna chalk it up as some losses for college, because Saturday I went 9-1 for college, and then Sunday I'll go 2-9. So yeah, pretty much in total 11-10 if I'm tracking that correctly. So just above 500 for the weekend for college basketball. And for the NBA, I think let me see, I think I did post. Let me just backtrack real quickly if the post should, because I don't erase any of my posts. I really don't. So NBA 3-3, so 10-6, 4 games above 500. I'll take it. I will gladly take that for the NBA. Okay. That was the recap. Let's officially dive into, because it is after 5:30. I want to try to get this done in maybe 20-30 minutes, hopefully, maybe a little less. We're going to talk about all of my picks for the NBA, all of my picks for college basketball. I have a total of, I'm going to go and pick it real quick. I have a total of 22 picks in total, but I spend a little bit extra funds today, just a smidge, because I'm broke and I'm hopeful to win something specifically tonight. So we'll see what happens. But NBA, we'll start with NBA first. Just go down the line. Let's talk about my 2 lock picks that I picked for tonight. Again, the video's up on the channel if you want to go check out that brief. Well, it wasn't brief. I try my best to do 5 minutes or less videos, or a little bit over, but sometimes I go 6 minutes or more, and I don't like it. But either way, the 2 lock picks that I have for today for the NBA is because I just posted it in my betting group. Okay, so I got one lock pick for Caesars, 1 lock pick for DraftKings. So the first one is actually this one. I try my best to pick 2 games that were at 7 o'clock so that I can really follow these games tonight, and hope that I don't, because I've been kind of like dozing off before 8 o'clock after I take my shower, just being old. So let's see. So the number did dip down 1. I grabbed this over on Caesars again early this morning. Minus 110 for the Pacers and the Nuggets to go over this total. I grabbed it at 247. As you see, it dipped down to 246. I think it was at 246 and a half briefly too. Look, at 4:07 p.m. it dipped down to 245. That would have been probably even a better choice for a referral, but that's at freaking 4:07 p.m. today. So this is what I explained in the video. Pretty much the reason why I took it wasn't so much as what the outlier is saying and showing. If you look at outlier, the under has been hitting for both teams more than the over, right? So as you look here, the under is hit 80% of the time over the last 10 games. It only went over twice. Technically, 3 out of the last 5 went under the mark for the Pacers at home, while Denver on the road, same thing, 70%. 3 out of the last 5, same thing. But 3 out of the last 10 games, the over has hit. So I pretty much looked at it like this. These last 5 games, look at what Denver has been doing as far as on the road. They've scored 122, 107, 137, 112, 120, 121. Pacers at home have scored 129, 127, 115, 132, 133. So the reason why I picked the over is simply because both teams have been roughly averaging around, definitely higher than 120 points, maybe 124, 125 type of thing. Again, over the last 5 games alone. So it was just more so just me looking at what they were doing as far as a team as a whole for these last 5 games in their respective spots, which is Denver away, Pacers at home. So I figure that this could possibly go over. They could possibly go out here and Pacers score 120 plus points, and as well as Denver doing the same. It could be a high scoring game. I think, as far as I can tell, let's look at the injury report. Let's double check. So Gordon is game time decision. I actually have him on a pick. Same thing with Murray. Murray's game time decision. I have him on a pick as well. I did not know either of them were injured. And the Pacers are pretty much healthy. Oh, McConnell's not in. Okay, interesting. So he played last night. So he must have got injured last night. Right ankle. So, okay. So, that's the reason why I decided to go with the over for this specific lock pick. So we'll see what happens with this one. And like I stated in my video from early this morning, that I've been pretty much having a really good February over the last week now. More so winning. I think I've only gone over the last like 6-7 days. I think I've only gone 0-2 once. I think, can't really remember. And I think that was before the All-Star break. Since the All-Star break, I've been like 2-0, 1-1 type of stuff. Next up is the Brooklyn Nets game. This one, so this one's more of the riskier. I feel like this was more of the riskier pick. I decided to go with the over, and actually it climbed, so this might actually work out. So I got this on DraftKings early this morning, -110, for it to go over 213.5 for them to both score 214 points tonight. Embiid is out. So when Embiid is out for the 76ers, the 76ers play better because Embiid's not slowing the game down, the pace down, or anything like that. So free reign to do whatever you want to do on the court when Embiid is not on the floor. So this could definitely benefit my pick, even just off of that specific spot here, right? We can look at let's look at the injury report for both teams. Again, D'Angelo, Russell, D'Lo's still out, Cam's still out. Sarr, I just found out Sarr was out. I literally just found that out just before the stream. Because I was upset that I forgot to put him on a ticket. I was thinking about putting him on a ticket from the last game that they played. And I didn't. I think he went out there and scored some good enough points for the Wizards in the last game. So that's why I'm just like, dag, like I missed out on my chance, and it didn't even dawn on me to be like, yo, let me try to pick him again tonight. But he's not even playing tonight. So Brogdon and Sadiq Bey are out as well. So this one, again, for this to go over, as we look here, per this specific spot, it's still going to be an interesting spot because the over isn't hitting for the Brooklyn Nets on their away games. As you see, technically the last 5 games is only hit over once, while for the Wizards, 4 out of the last 5. I explained this too in my post for this specific pick over on my Twitter, and as you see, it's only gone under twice over the last 10 games. So they're 8-2 for the over when hitting, right? But the thing about this pick is that, one, the Nets are still a really good defensive team. Look at what they're doing on the road. As you see, again, the unders are hitting more recently because they're playing really good defense. As you see, look, the Clippers back on the 15th, they blew them out the water because the over hit. The under hit on the 17th. They almost beat the Lakers on the road, 102-101. Against my OKC Thunder, we balled out. We shut all that down, but we did still cause them to at least get 100 points against us. But that's that. But then in the next game, this one, I wish I would have taken the Nets team total under for this one, but of course I wasn't thinking that, right? I think I did do this pick for Charlotte, and it went over the number. But as you see, they only scored 83 points. and Charlotte only scored 104. So as you're really looking at this stuff, the unders are hitting because, more recently, the last week or so, week and a half, the Nets have been like technically like a top 5 defense in the league right now, in the midst of them literally being down key players for this squad. So I want to see if this is going to cash for me tonight. And my hope is that I do go 2-0 tonight, but we'll see what happens. I'll still take a 1-1 victory, but I really am hopeful that this will cash for the over for this pick. It just popped in my head. I haven't placed a bet on Bet365 in a good grip, just because the better value's been over on FanDuel, DraftKings, and BetMGM. Like, those sports books have been, and I really haven't really touched Fanatics at all. I need to stop playing around. I need to make that happen. Oh, I didn't mean to put that in there. Let me edit that and take that out. One of my college picks in my betting group got accidentally placed. Let me take that out. I think everything else should be fine. I don't know how and why when I clicked on that, it was something else, but it is all good. Everything else is straight. All right, cool, bet. Done and saved. Come on, baby. See, it's not refreshing the way I need it to. There we go. All right, next pick up. I feel like a lot of people are just loving the Pistons because they are really, really working things out for this team. They like literally, they are just like handling business. Like, when we really look at the team, like, as you see, like, the players that, like, specifically just Fontecchio and Ron Harper, Jaden Ivey are the key players that are on this team that get a lot of the bulk of the minutes for this team outside of the other 2 players. So it's just like they're just down 2 players and they're out there balling. They've been balling, scoring points and winning game, like all of this stuff, covering, all of this stuff. So they've been balling. They've literally been one of my side squads that I've been like really rooting for, but I didn't take the over. I decided to just go on ahead and take Detroit's team total over. Let's see if the number moved. It did, just a few points down. As you see, they've been covering this number 10 straight, like literally probably more if you're really being honest. So 80%, like, look at this. If you literally, guys, if you would have started from right here, $10, maybe then added like 15, then 20, 25, and just kept taking all of your wins, and look at this, you would have money in your pocket. Like, I'm talking about $1,000 maybe in your pocket from all of these games that they have cashed on this over, which is sitting at 118.7. But I decided to go back to them for the over. Excuse me, 126, because they're averaging that over the last 20 games. So 126 over the last 10 games and 129 over the last 5 games. They have been a cashing machine when it's pertaining to just scoring points. The Clippers that they're hosting, or their defense is allowing 109. But in the head-to-head matchup, they went over this mark once, but they're averaging 116 points against the Clippers. So I just looked at this and I said, I'm going to go on ahead and grab this. I don't think, let me double check. So Norman Powell is still out. Kawhi is out. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like because key players are not going to be in, that Detroit's going to go out here. And look, Ben is not even playing. So I just kind of feel like this is going to be an easy spot. And you may want to consider, again, if indeed this occurs, because I think they did hit 100 points within the first 3 quarters of I think the I think it was at Atlanta, um, because they scored 148 points that game. That was a very high scoring game. They literally almost scored 300 points that night, right, from last night. So you may want to maybe possibly consider taking Detroit to score 100 points in the first three quarters over on FanDuel. I grabbed this. This was somebody's pick that I decided that I grabbed in the betting group that I'm in. They parlayed it, but it was plus 1100 at the time. And the line may have moved down or up, whichever, I don't know. But you may want to consider, if you have a FanDuel account, maybe possibly putting them down for 100 to score 100 points in the third quarter. But it just, we'll see. I just said it. I was like, hey, it's a 4-leg parlay. He had this dude, he had other, I think it was the Pacers. I think he had my Thunder on there, and somebody else. I can't remember. But yeah, you may want to consider doing something like that, because the teams, those type of picks are hitting not as often, like not every single day, but it's like every 2 days, 3 days, something like that. Somebody is indeed, one of these teams are indeed scoring 100 points in the first three quarters, even sometimes just getting to the 100 points by the end of the third quarter. That thing has been cashing. But that's the pick for them to handle their business at home, score some points, and maybe possibly get this win, more than likely, and even cover the number. Which, I don't know. Should I take the 2.5 right here on this live stream? I don't know. I'll think about it. But I'm kind of really content with all my picks here. Next up, I decided to, which the pick, it depends. It may not work out the way I was hopeful, because I forgot that Embiid was possibly not playing. He was questionable throughout the day, but we'll see what happens. I decided to fade the Philadelphia 76ers. I was really considering fading the Bulls, but I said, you know what, let me go against the grain. And once again, I'm 0-1 when taking a team to fade them with their team total points against the Bulls, because the Bulls defense sucks. So let's see, the number did move actually, but it's okay. I grabbed this at minus 120 over on BetMGM for them to go under 118.5. So again, it moved up one to 120. But as we see here, they've been cashing this as well over the last 10 games. They're averaging 111 points, but in the last 5 games, they're actually averaging 107. 4 straight games in a row, they've gone under this number, this 119. But again, the Bulls defense, they're allowing 121 points. That's the only thing that could cause this to not the only thing, but one of the major things is that their defense sucks, whether at home or on the road. But also too, again, like I mentioned before, Embiid's not playing now. So that means that there's probably more than likely, because they're playing against a team that their defense sucks, that they probably may score 130 points tonight. That just might happen, or around 120 points, 125, type of thing, in a possible win or lose. But it just depends, because Chicago, I don't know what who knows. But against Chicago, that's the thing. That's the other main reason why I took this pick too, is because they're averaging 105 points against Chicago over the last 5 games that they've played, which includes these 2 games here this year alone, both on the road. The key question is, what can they do in Philly? Because again, these were on the road this year. They're in Philly for the first time in this matchup here. So we'll see specifically what happens with this pick. But I'm hopeful that it does indeed cash. So moving forward, these other picks, I decided to bump up the value. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna bump it up, because I want to see if this can help the pick a little bit better. So Atlanta hosting the Miami Heat. Team total. Pretty much most of my NBA picks are team total, fading and or relying on teams to score points. As you see, Atlanta's been also too cashing on these team total points here. But I decided to go with a little bit of a riskier one. The line actually moved up. So I got I got 112 and a half minus 150 on bet over at BetMGM. Now, the as you see, the Hawks are averaging 125 points over the last 10 games, but the number dips up a little bit more to 127 the last 5 games. But again, they've been up and down the last 5. The Miami Heat's defense are allowing 111 points over the last several games. So I also too, against Miami though, they're actually allowing on the nose 112. They're literally just 1 point shy of 113. So I figure that Atlanta will probably possibly still go out here because they played against each other at Atlanta back in December on the 28th, just a couple of days prior to after Christmas and just before New Year's, walking into the New Year, that they scored 120 points against Miami at home. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, when we really look at it, they've been up and down the last 5 games, but they're still averaging specific amount of points. They've literally only gone under this number once over the last 5 games, and they've gone under this number twice over the last 10. So we're going to see what happens with this specific pick once this game begins. Next up, I'm really glad I didn't talk about this on my Twitter. I should have made this a focal point as a post, but I'm really glad that I did decide to go with relying on the Timberwolves to cover the spread last night at 8.5. I think it had dipped up to 9.5, but when I grabbed it was 8.5. But either way, I just kind of felt like my Thunder, because we literally just played against Minnesota like 2 days prior, technically 2 games prior, that I kind of felt like I wasn't too sure if we were going to be able to cover that number. Yes, I felt good, at least because we're back at home. We're on our home court. We got the crowd, cheering for us and motivating us and all of that. And plus, the team as a whole, handling business, that I just felt like at least at home, it'll still be more comfortable. It's just, I just wasn't sure if we were going to win by 9 points, blow them out, or win the game but not cover the number. I didn't feel like we were going to lose. I didn't really feel that with that pick. But with this specific one, because we're literally playing them now here at home in OKC, literally the next night, should I say, I decided to go with the over. The over ended up bumping up 1 point. I grabbed it over on FanDuel minus 110 for this to go over 227 points. But as you see, same spot over on FanDuel, 229 basically, 228 and a half. I decided to go with this pick because, one, the Timberwolves away over the last 5 games, 5 straight games, the over has hit. Literally 5 straight games. Literally away, the over has hit. While my Thunder at home were 4-1. Last game against Miami at home, it went under. But again, that was Miami. This is Minnesota, which, as you can see, when we really look at their away, the points that they score, they scored 115, 107, 138, 120, 115. Over the last 5 games, they're technically averaging roughly about like almost 120 points over the last 5 at least. So that's just one key thing. While my Thunder, 115, 137, 121, 140, we've been like, that's why I'm saying I felt like the over probably more than likely has a higher chance of hitting, because both teams have literally been handling business. And even, again, last night, where we were at Minnesota, we scored 130, they scored 123, the over hit, which I think the over was 230 at the time, if I remember, something like that, 232 or something like that. So the over did indeed hit for last night. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I felt really good about this pick. now that it's at 228 now and it bumped up, that, you know, I feel like we can go out here for both teams and handle business and cover this number, 227 and a half. Now, this one possibly has a higher chance of not hitting. It's the Blazers heading to Utah, aka Utah. So this is what I just found out. I was not paying attention to injury reports. So, okay, Ayton is not playing, right? Of course, Robert Williams is still not playing. But just found out all 4 top players for the Utah Jazz are not playing tonight. Clarkson's out, Collins is out, Kessler's out, and Morgan is out. I was literally thinking about taking Kessler for rebounds. He literally just had a game where he had like 19 boards last game. Yeah, I decided to go with the spread. I grabbed this over on Caesars for plus 5.5. There's a reason why I do specific stuff like this. I look at the lines. I look at even I even do this with college even more recently with my college picks. I'll look at this thing and be like, okay, Portland's favorite. Portland is currently minus 258. They're the favorite to win tonight. Utah is plus 235. I do this a lot. I've been doing this more recently with college basketball. When I see stuff like this and I look at the line, I'm like, you know what? Let me really look at both teams, what they've been doing. Has say the underdog still been keeping in the games even in losses? Have the favorites, have they won more, than the number itself? So when we look at Portland away, they haven't covered this number. This is what I was looking at. They haven't covered this number 4 out of the last 5 games. They've only hit the mark 3 times over the last 10. Utah at home have covered the number 4 out of the last 5 games though. Covering 7 out of the last 10. But again, I just found out because I didn't know that maybe players were game time decision by the time, we got closer to tip off. But now I'm not second guessing my choice of taking this Caesars pick minus 110 plus 5.5. I'm now sitting back and saying, hey, let's really look at what Utah has been doing at home. Have they been keeping it close? They've been winning some games. Like, they've been up and down as far as like winning, and then when they lose, they've lost by, say 11 or whatever the case may be. I think as we see the last 5 games alone at home, they not only covered but beat Houston at home. They got blown out by my OKC Thunder. The game before that, at home against the Clippers, they lost by 4, and covered that one. Won big at home against the Lakers. I'm glad I'm glad I took that pick on the 12th. I remember that one. I decided to take the Jazz on the spread, and they won that game and covered that number. I was glad about that one. And then they covered against the Golden State Warriors at home by winning by 3 the game before that. So on the 5th. So it was just like, I'm looking at it, I was like, well, I'm going to go on ahead and go with the team that at least can stay in the game. Now, I kind of feel like Portland may come in here and do what they did literally the game before. What did they do the game before? They were at home. They blew the socks off of the Charlotte Hornets at home, 141-88. Nobody saw this happening last night. 2 nights ago. But yeah, I took the under on this game, and I'm mad that it occurred this way. It's just one of those things because sports is unpredictable. Nobody saw Portland blowing Charlotte out the water like that at home. Nobody, literally nobody saw it. I can guarantee that. In the midst of how injury prone and all the injury and the way that the team has been playing, nobody expected Portland to play the way that they played last night. Nobody did at all. Nobody saw them scoring 141 points the way they did. Nobody did. So yeah, it is what it is. Next up, speaking of Charlotte, uh, and the Kings. Next up, I decided to uh, fade the Kings team total points, but I bumped this up. So technically, I should have grabbed either 122.5 or my favorite one, as I always say during these live streams, plus 100. But I ended up grabbing this one here. BetMGM minus 150 for them to go under 125 points at home against the Hornets. As we see here, this looks really beautiful. It's 80%. They're averaging 116 points, right? Charlotte's defense is allowing 112. Okay? Head-to-head matchup, they've literally gone on a number both times against Charlotte, whether at home or on the road. Last 5 games, they're actually averaging 122 points, though, just shy of 123, because they've been up and down the last 5 games. So I decided to go with the riskier pick because Charlotte's defense possibly could play a key role in them not scoring the 125 points. But again, also to the head-to-head matchup, we will see how this goes. Because again, this is last season. This is a totally different situation. We can even look at their defenses against each other. Look at this. Charlotte is actually better at defense. They're tied second place in shutting down the 3-point shot. But let's look at their stuff against their offense, though. So yeah, better. Supposed to be better offense. All of that. But when we also to look at the bottom here, we gotta also consider the pacing. Charlotte is 9th in pacing, 98 pretty much. Points in the paint, they're 13th compared to the 14th for the Kings. So it's a little bit of a 50-50 when it's pertaining to some of this stuff and the both teams against each other. So we'll see with this pick. I still feel really good about this pick, but we'll see. Again, like I said in the other pick, same thing. Kings will go out there and score 130 points tonight, but we'll see what happens. And so next up, I think I'll just show it here on my account because I posted them. Let's see here. And then we'll dive into the college. I'm going to try to make college a little bit more quicker. But for the NBA, I decided to go on ahead and do some parlays tonight. So NBA, where's the first one? Where did I? Well, here's the first one. This is the first one. I decided to go with a 10-leg parlay. Key players to score 10 points, another couple of key players to score 2 threes, and one player to get 4 rebounds, K. Cunningham. So I have Nick Claxton to score 10 points, Gordon to score 10 points, Cody White to get 2 threes, Cunningham to get 4 rebounds, O'Connell to get 2 assists, McDaniels to get 10 points, Keontae George to get 2 threes, and Nick Smith Jr. to get 10. Pretty much as you see, per the value, this is supposed to be a safe pick. I kind of looked at most of these players. There's what they've been doing over the last 5 to 10 games per the stats that I locked them in on. The only like maybe 1 or 2 players that I could see possibly this not hitting, and that is Aaron Gordon, because he's averaging 10, but over the last 5 games that I did look, because I forgot to look, he only hit over 10 or more points 3 out of the last 5 games. So this may or may not cash because he may not get 10 points. And the other one is Keontae George, which is 2 threes. I think if I remember correctly, he is, let's look at this real quick. but at the same time, he's probably going to get a lot of most of the touch. So you may want to consider again. He had 30 points last 2 nights ago at against Houston, and he had 20 the game before. Well, no, never mind. So Keontae George has been balling. I don't know why I was thinking Keontae. Was it Nick Smith? No, Nick Smith. It was somebody else. But maybe it's just George. Everybody else is pretty much cashing most of the time. I think it was not George, but Gordon, Aaron Gordon. I think everybody else has been pretty much cashing. But you may want to consider taking Keontae George on points tonight because it's literally just him. You definitely may want to possibly either rely on Collier for assists or maybe fade him. It just depends because it just depends on what the team is going to have to work with, the players or whatever is going to be able to work with that team tonight. Here. Next up, is this it? Yeah. So I decided to do a 10-leg. Actually, this is the other side of the thing. So this is a 10-leg pick. 10 players to say basically get 15 points. 2 players each game, 15 points or 20 points or 10 points. I think most of it was 15 to 20. Jordan Poole to get 15, Cam to get 15, Siakam to get 15, Murray to get. But again, that's what I was talking about. Murray, I didn't know that he was game time decision. He was questionable. I put him down for 15, so he may void out of this ticket here. Cunningham to get 20, Harden to get 20, Wiggins to get 15, Adebayo to get 15, and then Jeremy Grant and Sharp to get 10 points. So pretty much I picked these players because they are roughly averaging around the numbers that they have. Maybe I think even more so a little bit over the specific spot here. That I just kind of felt more comfortable. Even more recently, the last 5 games for some of them that I was looking, they were hitting that mark, hitting 15 points or higher type of thing. So it was just like I was grabbing stuff at a value of I think most of them were minus 300 or a little bit higher, maybe 460, 500 type of thing as far as these picks, just to round it off, and in the end, put down this 23 cents to get back $1.53 back in total. So $1.30 back in total. So we'll see what happens with that one. Next up, it's one of my favorite ones that I normally do sometimes. Sometimes I split them up. Sometimes I do a parlay like today. I decided to go with 2 players to get 10 points and 2 other players to hit 2 threes. Middleton to get 10 points, Kisper to get 2 threes, Braun to get 10 points, and Michael Porter Jr. to get 2 threes. They pretty much, for the most part from what I saw, they've been averaging around the number, probably a little bit higher. This feels like a safe pick that I feel like could and should cash tonight. As you see, I just decided to add extra. I usually do like 22 cents or 24 cents, but this one I added a little bit extra change to it to get back $1.05. So we'll see what happens with this pick. And that should do it for the NBA. Yep, that's pretty much everything. Now let's dive into my college picks. And like I said, these picks are a little bit more simpler, just a smidge for the college. I think I have literally only I think I have like 9 college picks for tonight, where I'm hoping to go maybe 6-3. I'll take a 6-3 gladly. Of course, I would love to have a 7-9 or 9-0, but I'll take a 6-3. But we'll see what happens. One game did happen. It was 12 o'clock. I was supposed to take the spread for Hampton, and I forgot. I'm mad I didn't. I'm mad I forgot. They blew the socks off their team that they were hosting today. Yeah, I'm mad. That was some money, some extra funds in my pocket today, because that game started at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my time. So that's that one. So let's dive into the collage. Let's see. So I would say most of my picks are team total points, over or under, whichever I felt comfortable with taking. So this bumped up. So I grabbed this minus 13 FanDuel for Queens University Royals to score 80 points, 79 and a half. And as always, it looks fairly decent as far as this number is concerned. They've hit the mark 50% of the time. They're actually averaging 80 points on the nose. And also, too, their opponents, UWGA, their defense are allowing 79 points. So it's just like right around a number. Head-to-head matchup, they played against each other. I think this was the main reason why I took it, because they played against each other in the most recent game, which was the beginning of this month on February 1st, and they scored 87 points. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go on ahead and take this and see what happens. But also, too, the other main reason why I took it was because last 5 games, they've hit over this mark 3 out of the last 5, averaging 84 points. So hopefully this one cashes for today. Next up, we like I said, we're moving, we're grooving. I think we'll be done in the next 10 minutes or so. Where are you? Where did you go? Okay, so I'm looking for, there we go. So another team total, decided to go with an over. Southern Louisiana Lions over 71 and a half for them to go over to score 72 points. Actually dipped up just a smidge. I got this over on BetMGM minus 118. Another fairly beautiful look here. They've gone over this mark 70% of the time. They're averaging 77 points. Northwestern's defense, their average for defense is they're allowing 69 points. Last 5 games, they're averaging 78. They've gone 3 straight games of going going over. But in the head-to-head matchup, though, which includes they played against Northwestern on the road, they only scored 65. They held them to 65 points in a loss on the 18th of January. So we will see. Now this one, they're averaging 68 points against them, but again, the last 5 to 10 games, they're averaging 78 to 77 points. So we're gonna see how that goes. The key thing to note, they are at home, so that's the key thing that we need to consider when we're taking these picks, is that comparison to their road games at home. As you see, they're scoring 83, 82, 84, 81, so they're going over the number 6 or 7. They've gone 5 straight games of over the number. So yeah, at home. So you want to kind of just be like, yeah, that should be something that I would consider taking the over on points. Next up is another team total, but it's under. Here we go. I was kind of up and down on which one to go with, but I decided to go with the home team. And actually, the number dipped down to, I got this at 80 and a half, minus 110 over on BetMGM. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this one because this is the best one to grab. So as you see here, they're averaging 75 points over the last 10 games, 80%. And the last 10 games, the last 5 games are averaging 74. The opponent defense is allowing 73 points over the last several games. So head-to-head matchup, though, they actually went over this mark back on the 25th of January. They scored 93 points. Are they going to score 93 points tonight? I don't see it really happening, to be honest. But again, that was just like a random thing that probably more than likely occurred that day, and it was on their home turf. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. They won and they held them to 63 points on the road. Are they going to do the same? Because again, they on the road and not home the last several games, they're actually going under the number. They did go over it one time more recently, but yeah, I kind of have that feeling that it's going to stay under the 81 points tonight. We'll see what McNeese does at home. Next up, another team total, but it's a fade. Another fade, back-to-back fade, right? North Carolina heading to Florida State, the Seminoles. I decided to fade Florida State Seminoles team total under, which is 75.5. I grabbed this at minus 118 on BetMGM. And once again, another beautiful one. They've gone under this mark 8 out of the last 10 games. They did most recently go over the mark 2 days ago, hitting 81. The Tar Heels defense, they were allowing 76 points. Head-to-head matchup, though, this is a beautiful thing. Florida State has been getting shut down, not even be able to even hit 70 points. So I looked at this and said, you know what, I'm just going to go on ahead and take this. Again, this is last season, though, but I just kind of had that feeling that possibly it could still look something similar like this. Maybe they hit 70, maybe 72 in a win. Maybe they still beat North Carolina. So, but when we can also look at, as I always say, you want to look at all the variables. Actually, I messed up. I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. You want to look at all the variables. Just look at what the Tar Heels are doing on the road. So, last game, again, per their defense, they couldn't hold Syracuse under the 76. They scored 82. They couldn't hold Clemson. Clemson scored 85. So literally, the last 3 games straight, their defense has sucked. And yeah, but again, Florida State, we look at their home stuff. Again, they're under the mark. They're they're averaging 70 something points. Shy of the number, right? The 76 number. So I decided to go with the riskier bet. That's why I took it. That's the main reason why I decided to go with this one, because I'm like, let's see if the Tar Heels can hold them to under 78 points tonight. Let's see. Next up is the spread. I decided to go with a spread this time. Where are you? Pick up. There we are. Okay. This was more of an easier spot. I really, really looked at this, right? I really did. But it was like, you know what? I'm going to go on ahead with the away team for the spread at plus 1.5. It's Lamar at Incarnated. So away, the last 5 games, they've covered the number 4 out of the last 5 games, while Incarnated at home have covered the same thing, covered the number of the last 3 out of the last 5 games, but back to back, they've covered back to back, right? Keeping note, Incarnated's defense is better against their offense. And then we look at this, Lamar's defense to their offense, it's a little bit in the middle. So that's why I was just like, maybe Lamar goes out here and loses by 1 point. Head-to-head matchup, though, they Incarnated covered the number because they won last season by 9 points. But again, that was last year. But yeah, I just said, I'm going to take a chance on Lamar to go on the road here and get this win, because they've covered the last 4 straight games. And also, too, when we really look at what last 3 games, straight games away. When you look at it, they won by 11. In the last game, the game before that, 10. Game before that, 10. So, I kind of figured they're kind of on a little bit of a streak here when it's pertaining to at least winning. While Incarnated, they have literally won by 10 2 times. So that's why I'm just like, let's just see what happens. This is more of a, it could go the way that I'm hopeful for, because again, Lamar at the same time, they're 13-4 on top of this 18-10 type of thing. So we'll really see what happens with this pick. Next up, where are you? Morgan State at Norfolk State. Team total. Decided to go with the over 70. Well, I grabbed this on BetMGM, 71.5. Looks as you see, it dipped up 1 to 72.5. Another beautiful sight, hitting the mark 80% of the time, averaging 82 points over the last 10 games, but they're also averaging 79 over the last 5 games. They went under the number once, and right in the middle on the 15th, the day after the quote-unquote love day. Norfolk's defense is allowing 68 points. Head-to-head matchup, though, Morgan State has gone over the mark all 3 times, whether at home or on the road. But more recently, they played against each other back in January on the 13th. They scored 78 points. So I'm feeling kind of good about this pick, to be honest. You may want to consider taking this, if you feel like consider taking that one. And next up are the parlays. Excuse me. So let me just keep scrolling all the way. Actually, wait, did I pass it up or did I? Oh man, I did not share them. I thought I did. So I did not share the parlays on my Twitter. I forgot to. I was putting them in. I was doing whatever I was doing, and I forgot to share them. But basically, I took team total overs and unders on parlays, and team total points, overs and unders for college, and I put them together in a parlay. Original one, it was just going to be one, but I decided to go with an extra one. But that one I ended up round robin. But the original one was a 5-leg parlay for UNC Wilmington, Jacksonville, Florida Gulf Coast, Alabama State, and Bellarmine or Bellarmine. All of them, most of them. So Wilmington, Jacksonville, Florida Gulf, Alabama State, all of them to go under their alternate total team points. These are alternate total team points. I forgot to mention that. And then Bellarmine to go over their total team points. So Wilmington 85.5, Jacksonville 81.5, Florida Gulf Coast 89.5, Alabama State 88.5, and then Bellarmine 69.5. All of them are minus 300 or more, like minus 310, 335, 345. 5-leg. Put $1 and some change down to get back $6. That's that one. Next up is a 10-leg parlay that, again, like I said, I put it all together. I took pretty much all of the 5 that I originally grabbed, and I added another 4 more extra picks to it, for a 10-leg parlay round robin, and it is, the other 4 are UT Rio Grande 58.5 to go over, Florida State under 83.5. North Carolina Central under 82.5. East Texas under 78.5, and Prairie View AME ANM, excuse me, under 8.5. Same thing, but these ones are minus 355, minus 345, 320, 335, 380. Like I said, 10 leg, put $1 down, you get back $10.46. But again, like I said, I round robin it to basically get back 20 plus bucks, because the other half of the ticket is for, I think it was like $11 some change. So again, it was 21 and some change, if I remember correctly. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Those are the picks. That's everything. Just over an hour. That's great. I'll take it. It's after it's after 6:30. I need to go turn my heat on, then get ready to get in the shower, and then get ready to try to pay attention to some of these picks, and then call it a night and hope that something cash. But with that, I'm out. Leave some comments, comment section below of this stream, this video, if you feel up to it. Share your picks if you feel comfortable. Let's push for some wins tonight. Let's hope for the best, and then we will dive into the hopefully I can do a video tonight on a recap for the 2-lock pick for the NBA. And we have, I think, 8 or 9 games for the NBA tomorrow, and whatever games that we're going to have for the college. I don't specifically, I don't know if they have anything. If they do, I might look at some stuff tonight before bed here. Okay, there's a plethora of games tomorrow. Yeah, a lot. Looks like 30, pretty much. I'm gonna try to see if oh, look, Davidson plays. I'm gonna try to see if Duke plays Miami. Okay, I'm gonna try to my Georgia Bulldogs play against Gators won, so they're no longer number 2, they're number 3 now. So Gators are at my Georgia Bulldogs tomorrow. I'm gonna have a play for that tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna have a play. I'm gonna probably try to lock something in tonight for that game. Plus with the spread here, I think I am gonna lock something in. But I'm gonna do it off stream, and then I'll talk about it tomorrow. But I'm out. I'll holler at y'all later, guys. Stay safe, stay humble. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.